You ever get the feeling that the quietest person in the room might just be the one running the whole show? That's the story I want to tell you, because I watched it happen 15 years. Nobody in that place ever bothered to remember her last name, let alone ask about her life. To them, she was just Miss Denise, the janitor who mopped the floors at Cresswell Holdings. Not Denise Jenkins. Not Mrs. Jenkins like she preferred. Just Miss Denise always there, early as the sunrise, pushing that squeaky cart past the frosted glass doors before anyone else even thought about getting out of bed. And nobody, not a single soul, had a clue she was about to flip their world upside down. 15 years, you know? That's a lot of gum wrappers scraped off break room tiles, fingerprints wiped off elevator buttons, and bad jokes overheard from people in $1,000 suits who never learned to look up. Her uniform had faded to a sort of soft gray, sneakers worn flat, rag in her pocket, moving with this quiet rhythm like she belonged there. If she was in the room, people talked around her like she was just part of the wallpaper. Most of the time, only the interns or the temps even made eye contact. But Denise wasn't bitter. Not first. She kept her head down, mouth shut, and just listened. To everything. The arrogance, the corner office lies, the way respect in that place was measured in how loudly you could talk over someone else. Once, some hotshot marketing rep left a whole sandwich sitting on the trash can not in it. Mind you, just balancing on top like someone else's problem. Denise picked it up, tossed it out. The guy walked by, didn't even say thank you, just told her, make sure the carpet's dry before the 3 o'clock meeting. Next day, he spilled coffee and blamed her. She nodded, just like she always did. Down on the 4th floor, Douglas Fairbanks, one of those senior VPs who always stunk of expensive cologne, laughed and said to his assistant, "Can you imagine working here your whole life and not even having a desk?" She heard every word. He never noticed her. None of them knew what made all of this so Wildis Denise owned more of that company than anyone in that building. Seriously. They thought they were the owners because they had titles and business cards, but the real power was pushing a mop past their glass offices every morning, waiting for the right moment. That morning her phone buzzed a message. "We're ready when you are." She slipped it back in her pocket. Didn't flinch. Just kept moving. Nobody noticed the difference, but Denise wasn't just cleaning floors anymore. She was headed somewhere. Let me back up a sec. Before she ever set foot in that building with a mop, Denise was sitting at her kitchen table in Columbus, Georgia, poring over business plans with her husband, Roland. Back then, Cresswell Holdings wasn't even a name. It was an idea scribbled on a grocery receipt. Roland, man, he had drive. Grew up running delivery trucks, knew logistics before anyone even used that word. Denise? She was the brain behind the scenes. She didn't talk much, but she saw everything, always breaking problems down until she figured out what didn't fit. In '98, Roland and his buddy Curtis scrounged up enough for a tiny freight brokerage. Denise invested the money her dad left her life insurance, the kind most people would have used to buy a house. She had a different idea. "Put in your name," she told Roland. "I'll stay in the background." And she meant it. Over the years, the business grew. Curtis was the networker, Roland handled operations. Denise watched every dollar, kept the books, registered backup company's protection, just in case. Then in 2004, everything shattered. Roland died in a wreck late night, tired driver, gone in a blink. At his funeral, Curtis gave a speech that barely mentioned Denise. 2 weeks later, Curtis pushed Roland's name off the paperwork, cut Denise out. Thought she'd disappear. But Denise? She had receipts real, legal, signed documents giving her equal ownership. She could have sued, could have brought in lawyers, but she didn't. She waited. Power, timing all that. 3 years went by. In 2007, she saw a job ad for a night janitor at Cresswell. Walked in with a fake resume and borrowed a dress. Got hired. Curtis never recognized her. Didn't matter, wasn't running things anymore. Now there was Thomas Wexler, MBA, all sharp suits and smug smiles. Had no clue how the company was built. Denise kept her head down, blended in. But every night she was there, she was watching, collecting, remembering. She learned every square inch of that, building a loose floorboard in the hallway. The microwave that sparked, which director used company cards for fancy dinners. She saw drivers limping in, HR whispering about health coverage cuts, and managers being walked out without warning. One guy, Terrence Doyle, spoke up about pay gaps, and he was gone a week. Denise? Invisible. She kept a black notebook, scribbling names, dates, quotes, everything. One entry. February 14, Wexler to CFO. We can cut the bonus pool for lower staff. They'll take what we give them. Another. Let the janitor clean it up. That's what she's paid for. She was standing right there. It wasn't bitterness. It was clarity. The place was rotten. One night, outside the executive suite, she heard Wexler laughing about drivers who complain they can clock out and drive DoorDash if they don't like it, and the VPs all laughed. That was the last straw. Denise started planning. Quiet meetings with her lawyer, Elliot Miles, smart, discreet. She handed him a flash drive with years of notes, recordings, photos. He said, "Once you do this, it'll shake the whole building." She said, "It's already shaking. They just don't know it yet." Her chance came on a regular Tuesday, all because of a paper plate. She was cleaning the third floor when she saw a half-eaten piece of birthday cake in the middle of the hallway, not on a tabouret on the floor. Like someone dropped it just to see if she'd clean it up. She bent down, and Wexler was right there smirking, pointing. "Missed a spot," he said. "Got a client coming. Maybe do the floor again." There was no spot. But Denise stood, cake in one hand, mop in the other, and just stared. He cracked. "I swear, you people just pretend to clean so you can stay on the clock." She asked, "What people is that?" He backpedaled. "Don't be so sensitive." She nodded. "I'll make sure it's spotless." He walked off, satisfied he'd put her in her place. That night, Denise didn't go home. She went to the records room, used a badge she'd borrowed months ago, pulled files, snapped photos, printed a bonus report. Wexler took a $55,000 bonus for himself, cut meal stipends, froze raises for janitors. The next morning, Cynthia, one of the other janitors, was crying her son in the hospital after a car wreck, and the company wouldn't give her the day off. Denise made a call. "It's time." Elliot said, "It's going to be messy." Denise just smiled. "I've been cleaning up messes my whole life. Let's go." In 48 hours, everything changed. She called for an emergency shareholder meeting, invoked her rights as majority owner. No one noticed. Next morning, she walked a new coat, no mop, head high. Boardroom, 10 a.m. Wexler, Curtis, the whole executive team there, clueless. Denise walked in, Elliot at her side. "Good morning. I'm Elliot Miles, legal counsel for Mrs. Denise Jenkins, majority shareholder." You could have heard a pin drop. She laid out the documents, partnership agreements, ownership transfers. Curtis turned white as a sheet. "No, that can't be right." Denise just looked at him. "You helped write these, Curtis." Then she told the room, calm as ever, "For 15 years, I watched you all let this place rot. I watched you pad bonuses, ignore safety, punish people for asking for basic decency." Wexler tried to laugh it off, called a scam. Elliot shut him down. "Mrs. Jenkins is calling a vote of no confidence. She has the authority." Wexler lost it, but Denise circled the table, eyeing each 1 inch. "You all looked past me like I wasn't even there. You failed." Then, just like that, security came in. Wexler and Meredith were out. Denise? She sat at the head of the table. But she didn't stop there. Monday morning, she parked in the executive lot for the first time. Felt weird, honestly, but she did it. Called a meeting, not for the board, but for everyone else. Drivers, admin, janitors, customer service. Room was packed. "Thank you," she said. "Most of you never knew who I was, but your work spoke louder than any title." Alonzo, a driver, asked, "Does this mean we get overtime back?" "Yes," she said, "and retro pay for the last 2 quarters." Deborah from HR, "What about health coverage?" "Already reviewing new providers," Denise replied, "and you all get a say." Folks couldn't believe it. Someone in back asked, "You're really the owner?" Denise just smiled. "Always have been." The room changed that day. Of course, not everyone loved the new order. Some execs fought her, said she wasn't qualified. She looked one of them dead in the eye and said, "I scaled my grief into silence for 15 years. I think I can handle your spreadsheets." She promoted overlooked staff, fixed contracts, brought back Employee Appreciation Day, ate lunch with the team, listened. The place started to feel different. Treeler. One day, Cynthia left a note in Denise's office. I didn't think anybody like us could ever make it to a place like that. You proved me wrong. Denise kept it in her top drawer. But the question everyone wanted answered, why wait so long? Denise would just lean back and say, because power only matters when you know how to use it. She waited, because if she'd acted sooner, they'd have spun it against her. But 15 years? Nobody could argue. She saw it all, let them show their true selves, then ended it with receipts. One afternoon, Denise walked the same hallway where Wexler once humiliated her, carpet spotless, nobody daring to look down on her now. An intern passed, nervously, "Hi, Mrs. Jenkins." She grinned, just Denise. That afternoon, she threw a staff party outside. No speeches, no banners, just food, laughter, and people who'd finally been seen. Alonzo raised his soda, to the quiet ones. Denise raised hers, to the ones you never saw coming. So here's the deal: don't ever assume you know who's holding the keys just because of a uniform. Sometimes the janitor built the house. If the story made you stop and think, share it. Because somewhere there's another Miss Denise getting overlooked, talked over, and erased. Let her know you see her. And maybe, just maybe, that'll be enough to change everything.